Okay, so this is Ringwalk Media. It's Thursday over in Leeds. It's a big fight night on Saturday. We've managed to get an absolute legend of boxing, Glen Jennings. Glen, it's a real big pleasure to speak to you.
It's great to see you, mate, and thanks for the nice welcome.
You're very welcome. And listen, veteran of Costa Tszyu and massive fighters. Of course, you're here with Shannon O'Connell. She's got a big fight on her hands.
It is a big fight. We're just super excited to be here. Also very excited that it finally come to fruition, considering that the opposing camp did not want this fight. But being mandatory, we held our ground, and we intend to take that belt Saturday.
Well, listen, there's been a lot of to-ing and fro-ing this week, and some of it's just fight antics.
Of course.
There's a genuine dislike from probably both of them because of the words that have been said and the history, etc. What's your take on all of this?
Look, I think it's boxing today. Unfortunately, I think we've got a clash of two worlds here. We've got a social media world, which can be anything you want it to be, and then you've got an old school boxing world where you grow up on the foundations of what boxing is about. And so it's very difficult to put those two together, and it was always going to be a big clash. Plus the fact that Ebanie was from Australia, she's now over here, and us having to come over here for an all Aussie fight, that's sort of, all that together makes for an explosive night.
It's going to be an explosive night. Shannon's got a really incredible amateur career. She's won pretty much everything. Ebanie not so much so.
Yep.
Do you think that amateur career has taken her one step ahead in her professional career?
I do know, and it can't be disputed, that experience can't be bought in this sport. And that background and that bone of an amateur career, and keep in mind too, Shannon's fought multiple world champions all around the world in much bigger shows than this. And so her experience factor comes into play big time. And when you're a rookie, under 10 fights, and you hold a belt, you don't have that to fall back on. And when you get into deep water or you're in trouble, there's no experience to dig for. You've just got to go with whatever you know. So we do believe Shannon has the skill set, the power, certainly the conditioning, but more importantly, the mental IQ and the experience to just make this a masterclass.
And we've seen this week, the public workout yesterday and a few chats, yesterday and today. There's a massive difference in the two fighters when it comes to the media side. Ebanie's very much a people-friendly media person. Shannon's been very cool, collected. She's been very polite and decent. But there's a massive focus here from Shannon, isn't there?
It's all focus, mate. Coming from the Tszyu family background and having the boys now, one thing that I have tried to help instill in Shannon as well is focus and determination can't be replaced. So if you want to be distracted and if you want to live in a social media world, or a media world for that matter, people friendly is one thing, but focus on the fight and the job at hand can't be distracted. And we won't allow that to happen. So she stays absolute, ready to go, laser fixed on this fight, and there will be no distraction. And so when we go home on Sunday with that belt, it'll be a culmination of all of those things together. And everyone will very quickly forget all the media that someone else has done. This is boxing. This is in the ring on Saturday night. It'll come down to who's the best boxer, and we're excited because for Shannon, a world title to take back to Australia against an Aussie, it doesn't get much better.
So why do you think that the fight didn't get made in Australia? Because these two are massive headliners in Australia. I know obviously Eddie won the bid, but you would have thought that Australia would have been the place for this fight.
It went to purse bids. We couldn't come to a deal. Went to purse bids, and our promoters, No Limits. We thought we put in a very strong bid based on what we believe the value based on other world title fights. This is unprecedented. The fact that Eddie bid as high as he did is great for us because we reap the rewards as well. But ultimately, everybody, I think, agrees, and I think Eddie probably too, this fight belonged in Australia. But we're here, and we would go to the moon for a world title belt. And so in terms of where it lands, we get a nice kick out of it because we get a nice bonus because the purse bid was higher. But again, Shannon, not even remotely interested in what money it was. It's purely about taking that belt and showing the world that old school boxing will out defeat the YouTubers and the social media boxing any day of the week.
And is there a rematch clause that would take it back to Australia?
There is no rematch clause.
Wow, that's an interesting one. Now listen, You've been over in Hyde this week
Yes.
with your old mate Ricky Hatton.
Yes, we have.
And training there. What's that been like to catch up with the Hitman again?
It's been wonderful catching up with Paul and Ricky, and they were very courteous in allowing us to use their gym. And it's a relationship from 25 years ago when we come to Manchester at the MEN Arena with Costa, and you were there,
Yeah.
and you know full well 22,000 Mancunians. That's a big crowd.
It is.
And we couldn't hear ourselves think. And unfortunately, we didn't get the win on the night. And I don't think anyone would have beaten Ricky Hatton on that night, to be honest. Costa gave it his best, but he was coming towards the end of his days, and Ricky was the young bull, and he beat the old lion. And it's wonderful. They've become great mates, and we've always all kept in touch. And that's the beauty of boxing, old school boxing. You can travel the world and reflame those relationships, and it's wonderful. We've had a great time in Manchester. We're enjoying Leeds and meeting all the fighters, and it's going to be a wonderful night. And look, at the end of the day, thanks to Eddie and everyone from DAZN for allowing us to come on and bring Shannon to this fight. And we intend to put on a show Saturday night, absolutely.
We've got no doubt that this is going to be an absolute storming fight. Two styles that are going to fit each other very well. See, Shannon's got a little bit of height on Ebanie as well. That could maybe be the factor that changes things.
And I think tomorrow at the weigh-in you'll see the actual height differential. Ebanie had some pretty big heels on today, and so she picked up a bit of height. But tomorrow on the scale you'll see the height differential. But Shannon O'Connell's a special athlete, and Ebanie has never ever come up against someone like Shannon O'Connell. So, yep, let's bring it on. We can't wait.
We can't wait either. And then you're hopping on a plane. Where are you going on Sunday? Because you've got another fighter,
God.
haven't you? Come on, tell us.
Well, Tim, my other fighters, Tim and Nikita Tszyu. Tim's in. I came from LA. We set up Tim's camp in LA. He fights January 28th against Jamel Charlo for the Undisputed in Las Vegas. So right now, my other camp is operating under full tilt in LA. So I flew from LA to here. I go back on Sunday to LA. I then go a week later back to Australia for 1 week. Then I fly back to LA 1 week after that. And then we've got 1 more month of camp before the fight. Then we go home. So literally 3 months on the road for me. But as I said earlier, it's a terrible problem for a manager to have 2 world titles on different continents in the space of a month.
You don't need personal media, do you?
Oh no, mate. You're welcome to come along, but it's very tiring. You'll need jet lag tablets.
Listen, it's been an absolute privilege to speak to someone as yourself. We remember those days back with the Costa Tszyu fight, and they were great days. And like you say, Ricky and Costa have stayed, good friends.
Yeah.
Never know. He's just done an exhibition fight recently. There's always room for another one, isn't there?
There always is, mate, and don't you worry. It's not far from our thoughts because they are great mates. Like Ricky and Marco, they were great mates, and it's something that the boxing world would really enjoy 25 years later, seeing the lads hop back in. So you never know. Keep your fingers crossed. But I'm hoping I can get Costa out of Russia to Tim's fight for Undisputed. It's the same weekend that Costa won his first title at the same venue in Las Vegas on the same day. So there's a bit of synergy there, and we're excited about that. So it'd be wonderful to have the old man, as we call him now, 52, Costa, bring him over to the US for the Tim's Undisputed.
Well, some things are just meant to be, aren't they?
Absolutely, mate. And if you get the chance to come across, and Ricky wants to come across, and Paul, why not? A trip to Vegas, and
we're taking that as an invite right now.
We might make an announcement there.
Listen, it's been an absolute pleasure speaking
Thank you,
to you.
mate.
I really
appreciate
wish
it.
both fighters well, and especially your girl. Thank you very much for your time.
My pleasure, and wonderful to have a chat.
Thanks, mate.
Cheers, mate.